So I've got at least 4 questions for you, Brine.
Okay.
The first question is, should I start a podcast by myself or with a co-host? Why or why not?
All right. So the answer is, in my opinion, it depends. If you have a co-host who you're going to be able to work with, it really depends on, I guess, what you're trying to accomplish. For the podcast that I co-host with my wife, it's more of a situation where we wanted to do something together. It's something that we're both willing to put the work in on, and we get along. I guess one thing that we've seen with COVID, unfortunately, is that when people have been forced to work from home, it's resulted in a lot of marriages going south or relationships going south, because when people have to spend that much time together, it's not necessarily a good thing. So if that's the case, you probably don't want to start a podcast with your significant other. Maybe you want to try something else. But if you're going to be able to get along with the person and you have a common interest in it's somebody who's willing to put in the work with you, because it is work, then yeah, I would say a co-host is maybe a good idea, because you can feed off of each other. That you can leverage each other's strengths. Now, again, there's times where Tanya and I are having conversations, and if you have a chance to listen to our podcast, you'll hear there's times where I'm asking more of the questions or guiding the conversation. And then naturally you'll see she jumps in, or vice versa. So we have a good flow that way. With the podcast with Mike and myself, because he's more of the workplace violence expert, and I just wanted to, I had built all of this momentum with the healthcare security cast, and I wanted to leverage that to talk about an important topic, but I needed the expertise of someone else, someone who's actually still in it on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, I brought Mike in for that. And it started off with me just asking him questions, having conversations with him. And then we expanded it to bringing other people onto our show. So in the beginning, it was just us having conversations. And now we've brought other people into the conversations. Every now and then it will be just the two of us again. But for the most part, we bring at least a third person into the conversation. I guess the one advantage of doing things solo is you don't have to coordinate with another person. You can just kind of do what you want. And, you have all of the creative liberty. So it really depends on, I guess, your personality, your working style, and what you want to get out of the show.
Yeah. I think there was a lot to digest there. You brought up parts of working with your spouse, and I'm curious, like, before I even asked the question, like the pros and cons of working with the spouse, you mentioned that you guys are kind of doing this together. At any point, are you doing any episodes where it's just her without you, or just you without her? Or is it always a collaboration?
Right now, it's always collaboration, and that may change. That's something that we've discussed. Is there was an episode where we actually interviewed her best friend and talked about her business venture and her blog, and she had actually done an Instagram live just with the two of them, and it, kind of using the branding of the Disrupt the Everyday podcast. So that's a discussion that we've had. We may, she may do an episode with just her and her best friend again, or another individual, and I may do the same. So we haven't eliminated that possibility. Okay. It's been, the collaboration's been working well, but again, it's something we've been open to. It really is just going to be topical and to depend on whether or not we do it.